pleasure now to introduce our compare for today, Councillor David Hopkins.
1, 2?
Yes.
So Councillor Hopkins, as some of you may know, is one of the longest serving councillors in Milton Keynes, being elected as councillor here in the early 90s, I won't say when, 1991, yeah. Okay, but actually our paths actually go back almost as far back. We both worked at Cable and Wireless in the late 90s at the same time. So, and he's been kind enough to be our compare for the last 2 years, indeed. So, if without further ado, I would like to give a warm welcome to Councillor David Hopkins. Thank you.
Thank you, Freddie, and hello again. Very nice to be back here again. And indeed, the one thing I love about Freddie's introductions is I have a list of things that I'm supposed to do, and I gradually tick them all off because Freddie does them in his introductions as well. So it does save a wee bit of time, which is no bad thing. This is the third year I've done it, and it compared, and I think it's fair to say that third time lucky, because the last 2 years have been filled with pitfalls and cock-ups, and there will be many more today. But that's what keeps it interesting, does it not? Yes, it does. That's me. Yes, I am a councillor. I have been a councillor in Milton Keynes since 1991. We're in Purdah at the moment, so I can't say that I'm a Conservative councillor. Oh, I am. I mustn't tell you that, but I represent an area called Danesborough and Walton, which is Wavendon, Woburn Sands, Bow Brickhill, and part of the New City, and Little Brickhill, which is a lovely part of the world. And it's a great honour to be part of that. But I also, as Freddie alluded to, I worked in telecommunications, originally for a company called Telephone Rentals, in the days when you could rent telephone systems in businesses. Extraordinary period of time that was, but great fun. 14-year rental contracts. Can you really believe that? You buy a bit of technology, not expecting it to change, for a minimum of 14 years, and it didn't. And the thing is about telephones, I wasn't going to talk about this, but the thing about telephones is that what the telephone systems used to do in 1971 when I joined them was you could make and receive calls, and if you were quite tech savvy, you could transfer a call to somebody else. It could do other things, but no one ever did. And what do telecom systems now do? These IP systems and the like, most people make and receive telephone calls, and if they're very clever, they can actually transfer it to somebody else. I mean, it's amazing how technology has moved on, but no one actually uses it. So hello, welcome to tomorrow's entrepreneurs, tomorrow's entrepreneurs, and those who are going to take Milton Keynes and the area to the next level. As I said, I worked, when I left Cable Wireless, I moved to Siemens, and they were a great organiser. I love big corporates. You don't get many big corporates now. If you get a chance, and I know you're all entrepreneurs, you're going to create your own big corporates, but go work for a big corporate for a while. Fabulous time. Absolutely brilliant. But that's neither here nor there. I've done many things at Milton Keynes Council. I was mayor a couple of years ago. It's one of the reasons I did this. I'm deputy leader of the council when my political group had control of the council, very briefly, 3 years. I've chaired many different committees and represented the council on many outside bodies. I'm vice chair of the Bucks and Milton Keynes Fire Authority at the moment, which is a very interesting thing to do. Spend a lot of time in Aylesbury, a town I'm growing to enjoy. The main thing I'm doing at the moment, in January of this year, we at Milton Keynes Council declared a climate emergency. You think, oh, how innovative and brave that must be, and it is in many ways. But over 250 councils have now declared a climate emergency, and for very, very good reasons, because we do live in times where we are faced with challenges, locally, nationally, internationally, that we've never faced before. And I think that one of the things we can do at a local level is start to make a difference in a way that actually at a national level and an international level, politicians are reluctant to do, certain politicians in particular across the pond. There are things, however, every day tech companies influence the buying or the decisions, the life decisions of over 4 billion consumers. The technologies that you're involved in today have to reflect a changing world moving forward for tomorrow. So when you develop your next business plan, I'd like you to consider, please, 12 actions I think you need to take to move your business forward. And I think these actions actually not only are necessities, but they also represent opportunities. because these are going to be the new business opportunities for young entrepreneurs and the not so young entrepreneurs moving forward. For example, think about your mission statement. This is going to be a challenge because holding this, I now have to move over here and drop this down here like this. Consider your mission statements. Let's look at the mission statements of some of the big technology companies at the moment. Let's look at Microsoft. Microsoft's mission statement is, our mission is to empower every person and every organisation everywhere to achieve more. Laudable, but it needs now to have the additional words at the end, on a stable, resilient earth. And Facebook, lovely organisation, give people the power to build community and bring the world closer together. But they need to add, on a stable, resilient earth. Oh, and I think, by the by, whilst protecting democracy. And Apple don't have a mission statement, believe it or not, but it could be, and should be in my view, to build technology that enriches all lives on a stable, resilient earth. So think about what your mission is as you develop your business. And I know that many here today have a vision of how artificial intelligence will benefit the world. Well, we increasingly trust AI, do we not, to make decisions for us. Those decisions must support a sustainable future. And we must be using social media for good. Social media has polarised information and contributed to inaccurate worldviews. It should unite us, not divide us. So the social media call to action, in my view, is to help people make sense of the planet we live on, support democratic processes, and build global communities around societal goals. And action 4, make low carbon your design default. And action 5, enable all companies to adopt circular business models. Enable circular services for sharing, repurposing, reusing and recycling. And reward, as action 6, reward low carbon consumption. E-commerce platforms can support social responsibility and create incentives for low carbon consumption. You have a huge role to play in that. And create a new generation of search engines. People rely on search engines now for information. And action 6, let's create new standards for digital advertising. I know there are people here involved in marketing and advertising. Half of all advertising is now digital. So advertising can change behaviours. So let's promote sustainable choices and healthy lifestyles. Limit advertising for high emission products and devote unused advertising space for societal goals. And action 9, enable healthy food consumption. Technology is disrupting the grocery sector. And action 10, enable sustainable transportation and travel, the one that many of you will consider. Enable vehicle sharing services, autonomous vehicles and electrification. Support downscaling from cars and SUVs to bikes and scooters, says a man who drives a Jaguar. Support and promote electric transport systems and reduce demand for flying by reinventing technology for virtual gatherings. One of the solutions I used to sell when I was at Telephone Rentals and Cable Wires and Siemens was video conferencing. It was going to be the big new thing. It never quite made it, did it? We weren't going to have to fly anymore, but people fly now more than they ever did. And enable the energy internet and smart buildings. Digitalisation will enable zero carbon building space as a service. Digitalisation will provide visibility and automated control that can accelerate energy services in houses and the retrofitting of buildings. And digitalisation will enable 100% renewable energy and grid systems that are more resilient and more efficient. And finally, action 12, support transformation to making Milton Keynes, in particular, as we're in Milton Keynes today, a smart and sustainable city. Use artificial intelligence and the Internet of Things to optimise existing infrastructure and reduce the need for more roads and more infrastructure, and make city transformation faster by visualising a sustainable, healthy and fossil-free city. We can make a difference if we plan today for how we will do technology business tomorrow. It's the new marketplace. As I say, it's a new opportunity, and we can all help to save the planet. But that's more than enough from me.